The Supreme Court has set a date to consider whether queer people should be protected by the Civil Rights Act. There have been more first-time prides around the world, but also further violence. And Amazon has blocked sales of one of the most harmful homophobic books ever written. We'll have the week's top LGBTQ news and how it affects you on Weekly Debrief. Thanks to everyone who makes Weekly Debrief possible with the pledge of support on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/mattbaum or click the link in the description to check out those backer rewards. Does the Civil Rights Act protect queer people? The law was passed in the 1960s, and for all this time, conventional wisdom has been, no, the Civil Rights Act doesn't protect queer people from being fired or evicted or expelled from school on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. But a growing body of lawsuits argue that it actually does. That discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity actually constitute a form of sex discrimination, which the Act does prohibit. And now the Supreme Court will finally weigh in. This week the court set a date, October 8th, to hear oral argument in multiple lawsuits that the Act should have covered sexual orientation and gender identity all along. If the court expands the interpretation of the Civil Rights Act, it would be a monumental change in the protections that queer people enjoy. It would mean that there's a federal law prohibiting discrimination in housing, employment, education, something that human rights organizers have been pushing at various state levels for decades. Once arguments are done, a ruling from the court will be due by June of 2020. This week also saw Pride Month wrapping up with 5 million people attending World Pride in New York. There are also a number of international milestones this year. Nepal hosted its first Pride Festival in Kathmandu, but in Istanbul, police fired tear gas to break up a rally for LGBTQ equality. A reminder that there's still lots more work to be done around the world. And also this week, Amazon has finally blocked sales of a book that purports to cure homosexuality. The book, written by Joseph Nicolosi, contains harmful pseudoscience advice that did real harm to countless people. But now, after a lengthy campaign to get Amazon to drop the book, there are no longer any listings for A Parent's Guide to Preventing Homosexuality. But unfortunately, conversion practices are still widespread across the country. This week's action item is to connect with the campaign to outlaw these abusive fake therapies. Visit the Trevor Project's campaign 50 Bills, 50 States to support their work to ban dangerous conversion practices nationwide. And as always, let me know about stories that need covering at Matt Baum on Twitter and on YouTube. Big thanks to everyone who supports Weekly Debrief. Head over to patreon.com/mattbaum to pledge your support and check out the backer rewards. And I'll debrief you next week.